Cool, lovely. How you doing, Willie? You all right?
Yeah, good, Leo. You?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. We'll roll straight into it then. How are you feeling after that derby win? How's this week been?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, players had a couple of days off, and then came back in yesterday in good spirits. So now it's important that we speak about. Obviously, whether you play rep football, players play rep games, for England or even the Origin games. Those sort of players want to pride themselves in playing well the week after and at a level that they need to. And we're similar after a derby. You get to a high of a derby. It's important that you stay there. So we've prided ourselves in that in recent times, and I look forward to us lifting it to a standard again this week.
Because I guess a lot of your role as a head coach in this context, as much as it is tactics and play, it's managing the emotional side of a squad. Is that something that you've picked up on during your couple of years as a head coach?
Yeah, definitely. You need to feel is a really important part of rugby league. I always go back to Wayne Bennett. I worked with Wayne, and Wayne had unbelievable feel of a group. And so it's important that you understand and feel where the team's at. Sometimes hard to measure, but it's very important that you understand it. And I think this week is we wanted to train at a high level again. We did that last week, and the players have certainly done that. So it's important. We train at a level that we need to be at, so they go play it and do it again this weekend.
How's the side shaping up injury-wise, Niall Evans in particular?
Yeah, hopefully Niall's only going to be 1 week. It's 1 to 2, so we're not 100% sure, but it's not as bad as we first thought. So it's possibly a 1 to 2 week injury.
Cool. Sam Lovely as well. How's his head injury?
Yeah, Sam will come back into contention for this week, so he's passed all the protocols and he's trained with us. Any
other concerns going into this week?
No, there's not. We seem okay at the moment. Niall's obviously the one that was that picked up an injury from last week. Obviously, this time of the year, every team's got their niggles, and players just push through. It's a tough competition, and they'll just keep pushing through.
One thing that I know you've been particularly keen to work on, and something you may feel have cost this side in a couple of games this year, it's that start, that first 10-15 minutes games, which is something you nailed in the derby. How pleased were you with the way that you came out of the dressing room?
Yeah, there's no doubt the start won us the game. I was really pleased with the way we started. We dipped the toe against Catalans, and then we decided to play in the second half and just fell short. So we wanted to take what we did in that second half into the derby, and we certainly did that in the first 20 minutes. And then we made it really tough for ourselves with some unforced errors. But certainly that start won us the game. So now it's about starting like that again and doing it for longer periods.
You mentioned in our post-match interview that the next area of progression you want your side to work on is how you manage chaos. Those chaotic situations. How do you coach or train for that? Yeah,
you just got to put the team in similar scenarios to what we had at training. That's the key. If they've seen it and they've done it before, then it becomes a lot easier in games. So we need to constantly sort of challenge the guys and put them in unfamiliar environments and positions, and then see how they handle it. And then obviously you review it and speak and talk about, okay, did we handle it the best way we could, or what do we need to work on? But I thought we had some positional change last week. As I said, after the game, our attack probably at times could have been better, but it was more around our individual errors that we need to improve. I thought defensively overall was strong, except for that 10-minute period that, again, in chaos where we had a man down and some people out of position, but we weren't overly happy with the tries that we leaked in that 10-minute period.
Of course, Niall Evans' injury does leave a question mark over fullback. I'm not going to ask you to reveal what you're doing this weekend, but Mikey Lewis filled in there on Saturday. Were you happy with how he played at fullback?
Yeah, I think Mike can be a really good fullback, and he can be a really good 6 or 7. So for me, it doesn't matter too much where Mike plays, whether it's one or in the halves. He can certainly do the job in both positions, and he proved that again on the weekend.
Of course, Louis Gorman is another option at that fullback. Again, I'm not going to ask you if he's playing or not, but he's been having a pretty good season, both with the academy and on dual reg with Featherstone. What have you made of his progress over the year?
Yeah, Louis is going through his journey. He started off really well, and then because of his age and because of the games he's playing against men. Sometimes you can taper off a little bit, but it's all part of development. It's all part of Louis' journey and the stage of where he's at with his rugby. So Louis is a great person and he works hard every day. So he just needs to continue to do that. But overall, look, not expecting too much from Louis. Certainly at this stage of his career, except for coming in, working hard, wanting to be better, and then doing everything it takes to try and be a first team player, and he's doing that.
Do you think he's getting close to being in that position to make a step up?
Look, he's the way he comes in with his attitude and the way he works every day, but you need to be consistent. I think the person I'd like to point out probably is who's developed in a year is Connor Barley. I mean, Connor Barley was a player last year that he probably didn't fully understand who he was as a player. He played centre, he played wing. He certainly would. He had to. It was new to him being part of a first team environment, and if I say honestly, at the time, Connor didn't handle the loads and he didn't handle what it took to be a first team player. But as I said to many people around us, with these type of players, you need to just be patient. Connor's a big body. He's developing. He needed to play. He hadn't played enough. He played against Wigan. A lot of the young kids played against Wigan and they had a tough night, but would have got a lot of learnings from that. But it's more around, Connor growing as a person. A year later down the track, and his body changing, and I like where the improvement that he's had. But it takes time. So look, Louis, just out of academy, and he needs to, be patient but work hard, and I'm sure Louis would say to you, the same thing.
When's the final 10 games of the season now? Are you happy with where your sides are?
Yeah, naturally we're happy in the latter position. We'd like to be, a little bit more consistent overall. You're never going to get the perfect 80 minutes, but I think, if we put that first 20-minute period over 60 minutes, then you're a really hard team to beat. I was really, really happy with our first 20 minutes. I thought we dominated field position. We suffocated FC, and with the ball, we were patient, and then we got we got the opportunities, we executed. So then we went away from that for a long period. So certainly happy with where we're at, but 10 weeks is a long time to go. So it's cliche, but it's week to week.
Let's look at this week then. Leeds, obviously, new coach with Brad Arthur. Does that make it a difficult game to prepare, given that you've not got that back catalogue of information about how they play under him?
Not really, because I know exactly what Brad and Brad's style. Brad's an effort first. He likes his teams playing physical, so we certainly know what we're going to get. And I think it's one of those where the players, like to answer your question, it's an easy one this week, because what do you get when a new coach comes in? You usually get a lift. So it's a good opportunity for us to go back to what we do well and what we pride ourselves in, and that's energy, that's effort. It's similar to what these the Leeds players will be looking to do this week for Brad. So as I said, Brad Arthur's a very, very good coach. He's proven himself in NRL over many years, 10 years at Parra. It's a big club over there. So Leeds are lucky to have a guy like Brad take over. So we know what they're gonna come with. But again, we'll just worry about what we can control. And as I say, we want to pride ourselves in lifting this week to levels that we can after a derby.
Of course, I know you only see it one game at a time, but you are playing Leeds in that final game of the season. Is there not a part of your brain that's thinking that game could be really important? It's important to get one over Leeds now.
No,
fair enough.
No.
Before I let you go, I want to speak about Bill Leyland, because his signature was finally confirmed this week. What do you think he'll bring to the club next season? Yeah,
firstly, I love Bill's confidence. He's only 21 years of age, and when I spoke to him, he's a very, very, very mature young man. He knows what he wants. He knows who he is. So I admired that straight away. He's a powerful kid. When he gets out of dummy half, he can certainly cause some havoc with his running game. And obviously, with Matty moving on next year, we wanted to get a player similar to that, because I think it works well for us. But Bill's only young. He's 21, so his best years are going to be ahead. He's ahead of him. He's coming back off an ACL injury, so that can take time. But certainly not looking, of what he can do early on. We obviously want Bill to play as much first team as possible, but we certainly see, him as a future player for us.
When I spoke to Bill, something that he put emphasis on was that he played in a similar two-hooker system in London that we've seen Rovers play over the last few years. With Matt Parcell's departure, is that still a system that you'll be looking to play next season?
Oh, I mean, a pre-season takes care of that. I don't want to say we're going to have two hookers or we're going to have certain people in the team. You see how players come back, what kind of shape they're in, then you see it's a new season, so what players are going to go after the new season. So, that could be a half on the bench. You could go 4 forward. So it depends on who you're playing at times. But certainly for that round 1 game, we like to pick the players that have earned that over the course of the summer or winter, should I say, very cold winter. So that's what we'll look to do. It's more so than say, we're going to go with 2 9s or we're going to go with, a half on the bench. Players need to earn that.
I can't believe it's July and you're already complaining about the weather in winter. You get it in early. And that's everything from me, Willie. I'll let you go, but good luck this weekend.
Cheers, Leo. Thanks, mate.
Hey, Willie. How are you doing?
James, good, mate. You?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just on the bigger picture, it's a very congested top half of the table. How are you viewing that competition for places up there?
Yeah, it's like you say, it's congested, mate. So we don't want to read too much into the back end. Like, it's 10 games, a long time to go. So, obviously first game is against Leeds this week. It's a massive game for us. As I say, it's because we've just played a derby and we want to make sure that we're at levels that we want to be at. It's a tight comp and every 2 points are key. So we want to go and win the game.
I was going to say that. Can it be a positive in terms of focusing mind? Because you can't afford too many slip-ups, can you? No,
every game's. I mean, you look at the year. I've done it every year, whether I've been an assistant or a head coach, and you say, "Oh, this week's a big game. Oh, this week's a big game." So you can say it. I mean, you say it from round 1. We've got to get off to a good start. It's a big game, and then because of the points and the ladder position, every game becomes a big game. So we're at that stage that this week's a big game. They're all important, and you don't want to lose and have slip ups, and that's why. We were disappointed. We do talk about performance more so than result, but we went back to the first half of the Catalans. We lost the game, but we weren't happy with our performance in that first half. And then the second half, performance was good, and then we just fell short. So, overall, we lost that game, but we liked what we did in the second half, didn't like what we did in the first half, and then we played really well. That first 20 minutes was pretty much set our win up against FC. So we just need to play for long periods, and then that result will take care of itself.
You obviously have to secure your place in the 6th first, but is the top 2 finish something you're really chasing as a club to continue your progression?
I think where we are now, it's certainly something that you want to chase because we're in the race at the moment. So, again, if you focus on that and you worry too much about end result, like I've been in the game long enough to know, you forget about your process. So the key for us is, we had a really good session today, and then we go into Saturday's game. We've got a captain's run, and then worry about each day and stick to what we can. As I said, we've said it all year. If we do what we do well and we do it for long periods, then we'll put ourselves in a really strong position. And we set that game up in that first 20 minutes on the weekend, but we weren't overly happy with some of the periods. But then towards the back end, I was really happy.
Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about during the running. You've got some big games coming up, especially on the road, where you could prove quite a lot in the back end of the season. You go to Leeds, Warrington, Saints, Wigan, not in that order, but there's some big games coming up, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not thinking about. It's honestly, mate. Like if you worry too much about those, you forget about what's here. And we've got an important game this week, so we've got to pretty much play. The sides in and around us at some stage. But we're playing Leeds this week, who are fighting for a top 6 spot. So they've got so much to play for as well.
Yep, I'll let you focus on the Rhinos. Thanks, Willie.
Cheers,
all the best.
Mate. Thanks, James. Cheers.